You're watching BCTV. We're all about Brantford. You're watching BCTV, Brantford Government Television, a service of Brantford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Brantford.
Welcome everybody tonight to the Elderly Commission meeting, September 10th, 2020. So did everybody get an opportunity, or should we introduce everybody?
Probably a good idea.
Okay, so I'm Lori Rockwell, the chair. Who's next? Nancy?
Nancy from the Senior Center.
Dagmar, director.
Pat Brownell.
Lori, go ahead, Pat.
Pat Brownell.
Jean Ricco.
Doreen Denhart, clerk.
Ellen Carucci, commissioner.
Alpha.
Alpha Coiro, new member.
Okay.
And welcome, Alpha. Thank you for joining the commission.
Thank you, Lori.
All right, so did everybody get an opportunity to review the minutes from February 13th meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have any additions, deletions, corrections, or can we approve them as written?
Move to approve as written.
I second the motion.
Okay, they're approved. Dagmar, we're ready for your report.
Okay, well, the first thing I want to say is hello to everyone. We've missed seeing you. It is Senior Center Month, National Senior Center Month, which is different from Older Americans Month. This is the month that we celebrate our centers all across the nation. And guess what the theme is this year? Delivering vital connections. So they determined that long before the pandemic. So it's kind of interesting that it fits right in with what we're doing right now. The first thing I want to do is just kind of get you up to date on what's been going on. And the very first thing I need to do is thank the team of Senior Center professionals I work with. Nancy with all the programming she's done, Marlo and Nikki for all the social services. We've got Blair who's done transportation, and we have a new program assistant, Ellen Marin, who I think I spoke to about. We were just hiring her at our February meeting, and she started working for us right at the beginning of March, right before the pandemic really got a hold and changed everything to lockdown. So she had a couple of weeks in, and then everyone started working remotely. I remained at the center, but the rest of the team worked remotely. And I've got to say, they were amazing at what we did. We had to suspend everything. All our on-site operations were suspended mid-March. Everyone worked remotely. And we had to kind of scramble to reallocate our resources to a new way of doing business. And as all of you really appreciate, the heartbeat, my thing is the heartbeat of a senior center is social integration. And all of a sudden we can't have people on site, and we have to figure out how are we going to get people socially integrated? How are we going to do what we do, connect people in a virtual world? And we learned a lot. The people we work with learned a lot. The participants learned a lot. And amazingly, we are making it happen. And I think all of us thought that, seniors aren't as connected as they are. And let me tell you, I think I underestimated people's abilities to be connected, and very grateful to do that. Of course, there is a segment of the population that before the pandemic were like, nah, I don't need a smartphone. I don't need an iPad. I don't want a computer. I'm too old for that. And now we're really seeing a lot of people who say, I need it. I need to order my groceries. I want to talk to my kids. I want to do a virtual visit with my doctor. And so they see value in it now. And I'll talk about that a little bit later and what I'm doing and how I'm trying to address that. But I really think that I just want to say a thank you to our team for having embraced doing a new way of working. And Nancy can speak to it. I was kind of like, hey, we got to get on this. And she jumped right on it. And Ellen comes from a marketing background. And some of you may have noticed that we've been sending out, now it's gone bi-weekly, but often we were sending out weekly. For months, we sent out a weekly online newsletter. When we started the pandemic, it was like 700 or 800 people were getting it, households. Now we're well over 1,200. Wow. So, having a program assistant that is really managing our online presence and our communications virtually with people has made a huge difference. For example, our Facebook page, she updates it regularly. We have doubled the number of people that are following us. I think we're like close to 350 now, and we were at like maybe 100, 150 when this all started. So I think people are turning to us as a resource. I mean, to have 25% increase in the people who want our email communications and 50% on our Facebook page. I was really happy about that. And she really has a marketing background, so she knows how to make a newsletter easy to read. At least I think so. I don't know how the other commissioners that get it. Patty, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I look forward to it. I enjoy it. Yeah.
Anybody else, Pat or Ellen or?
Yeah, Dagmar, congratulations on all the resources, the food service deliveries, the virtual classes on how to do Zoom, and the educational programs that you're bringing. It's really, I'm really proud to be part of this. I think your staff has done an amazing job, and it's really nice to see. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it really, they all have stepped up. Everyone has stepped up, and it's not easy. There are many days where we're very frustrated. Nancy can speak to this, when we're trying to teach people, or, it's hard doing everything remotely and you can't see what someone's screen is, but we've taught about 150 people. We've educated on Zoom, and hundreds others that didn't need to start from, ground zero, but they needed a little guidance on how to do it and etiquette and all that kind of thing when you're on a Zoom meeting. So it's even our bingo people. I thought, Nancy and I were talking and we kind of underestimated their abilities, and I apologize to them for that. But boy, we won't be able to do that. But we had a digital bingo program we've had forever, and we're able to share the screen, and Nancy puts together bingo cards and we deliver them to people. We have about how many people? 15? Maybe half of what we normally did, 60%, maybe, Nancy, somewhere around there. Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we couldn't hear you. Yeah, so I mean, the whole point of the virtual programming is to get people connected and to see one another, and you miss that. And in many ways, I think Zoom is almost more intimate than being at the center, because we're in one another's homes. Even the things like Nancy will talk more to the programming, but they do a virtual happy hour every Friday at 3:30. Some people are having a cocktail, some people aren't, but they have a little bit of fun with it. And that's why, excuse me 1 minute. Thanks, Victor, I'm on a meeting. Bye. Downstairs is leaving, so sorry about that. Nancy, you want to say where you are? You're not really in wherever you are.
So I'm in a cave in Croatia. So it's a natural cave, and the water is right beyond. I'm on the upper level, and we do this every week. Tomorrow's going to be a really fun bar as well, and it gets a conversation going. We do a lot of trivia stuff, and it's just a nice way to get together with people. We have a really nice time. Everybody's happy, whether they're having a cocktail or not, and I usually have my iced tea, and I'm a happy girl. So it's a great way to end the work week, and it's a good way to start the weekend. So if you want to join us, commissions people, please join us.
Or people at home who happen to see this. I mean, you don't have to be a drinker, but Nancy and Ellen always have a fun place. They've gone to the Monkey Bar in Amsterdam. They've gone. Did you go to Australia? Maybe, I don't know. They've been all over the world, but they've taught people we're teaching people how to do virtual backgrounds. So people come, participate, and then they come back and they say, oh, I did a happy hour with my family, or I did a dinner and they wondered where I was, and they have a cool background going on. So it's been good. There's a lot of tricks to the trade a little bit, and some people dealing with outdated equipment. So we're working toward improving that. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to our team on doing that. You mentioned we delivered meals. Our normal meal program, generally we would do maybe 15 meals a day, sometimes less, sometimes a little more, depending upon the activity. And I got a printout from LifeBridge, who is the provider of our meals through the Elderly Nutrition Project through the federal money. And we have so far delivered 695 boxes of food, and in each one of those boxes is 5 meals. So we've delivered 3,475 meals to people. And that's averaging, I think, 30 at a clip per day. So that's really a pretty good increase in what we're doing. We deliver every Friday. If there's anyone at home who would like some frozen meals, they're actually pretty good. And even some of the centers, Nancy was on a meeting today, people like the meals more than they do the ones that we have here sometimes, even though it's the same vendor. But that I'm grateful to be able to do it. It's when we get to see people, they get to see us, and everyone on the team takes, we alternate weeks when we do deliveries. And it's guaranteed to rain every Friday. Just saying, right? Every Friday, yep. Nancy, it rains. But in the meal program, they've told us will not start up again at least until sometime in 2021. That's the decision that they've made. No congregate meals are allowed at any of the sites. But for example, in a normal month, we'd serve, 230, 300 meals, and we're doing 700, 600, 500 a month. So that's really a good thing. I'm just got to let that go. Hold on, excuse me. Dale, I'm on a commission meeting, but I'll lock up. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Okay, bye-bye. Sorry about that. We communicate with downstairs so we can make sure the alarm is on when we go. So we've delivered meals. We've, an amazing group of people in our community have made handmade masks, because that was something that a lot of people just didn't have hanging around when this all started. And the quilters and various ones of our seniors they rallied, they made masks. We got maybe about 500 or 600 donated. We've given out probably close now to 400 we've delivered to people if they need it. If anyone needs a mask, they're the handmade washable masks. We'd be happy to give you some. So just give us a call, give a call to Blair or any team member, and we'll get you a mask. We've made thousands of telephone reassurance calls, just checking into people, see how they're doing. If somebody's name pops into our heads, we just pick up the phone and call them. In the beginning, we were calling people from a list, but now we just take the initiative and, research people out and give them a call and see how we can help. And very often people just aren't, they are doing really well. Most of the people I speak to are not in a rush to be in any kind of crowd because of the stay safe, stay home. And fortunately, there's no deaths I know of in our community, in our participants, except some that had been in some of the nursing homes in town. Nancy, have you heard of anyone? I don't. No. I think everybody's been so good and so careful, and just hang on a little bit longer. We love seeing you, but we want everyone to stay safe and stay healthy. Let's see what else we did. Transportation. We had to pause all of our transportation services, and it came to a halt everywhere, even Greater New Haven Transit District. I'm on the board of them, and that really slowed down. They went down to pretty much nothing during March, April, May. It started to pick up again now, but they have all the precautions in place. What we've done is order, and it gets paid through FEMA, modifications that we're making to our vehicles. So all the vehicles now have, they're going to have plexiglass dividers protecting the drivers. Then there's shields between each seat. I'm also installing Pro Air HEPA filters in each of the buses that circulates the air, and it also kills bacteria with a UV light, like they're doing in airplanes. So we're trying to make our vehicles as safe as we can. And when we move into phase 3 as a state, we will begin to bring back some of the transportation services, but it will be on a limited basis. And when we can bring people back, I think people need to understand that it's going to look different. And this is mandated through the state. You probably saw in your packet, there was a letter I did to the governor. I wrote that in May. And this will teach you to get what's on your mind off, because the following week I got a call from the governor's office saying, we're going to put you on a working committee to develop the sector guidelines for senior centers, because there really was no guidance for us for reopening, because they didn't technically shut us down. That was up to each individual community. So this is really permissive guidance that they're giving to us. And so I worked on a committee with 3 other senior center directors, the head of public health for the state of Connecticut, the governor's consultant, I'm trying to think of it, and the commissioner on aging, Amy Porter. So we worked all summer on developing the guidelines. The guidelines came out last week or the week before, and it tells us everything we have to do, which is a whole lot. Things like we won't be able to have meals, no coffee, no shared game pieces, no cards, no puzzles, no Rumicube, the things that a lot of people like to come and do because you have shared pieces and they're touch points. And we can't possibly ensure someone's safety. Bathrooms have to be cleaned so often. We'll have to know who's in the building at all times, so people have to make an appointment to come in. You can't just come and hang. You can have 2 people at the pool table, and then you have to clean between each time. And on the buses, when we transport, we have to clean between each time someone gets on and off. So it's kind of a massive undertaking, because we have to follow the senior center guidelines for sector rules. We have to follow it for restaurants, eventually when we can bring food back. We have to follow for fitness centers. We have to follow for movie theaters. So most of the guidance, like 20 to 30 pages, but I think we have 5 different sectors that we're going to have to follow. So it's going to be a huge thing, and things will eventually be phased in. Most of the people that we've spoken to are not anxious to come back. You miss seeing everybody. But if you can't come back in the way you want to, it doesn't make any sense to take that risk. In one of the meetings I was on, we spoke with someone in Illinois, the director of all the senior centers for the state of Illinois through their state, and they had started to reopen. And they were doing so well with their virtual programs, but they kind of had, you can't really do both at the same time. And when they brought people back in, they only had 10% participation. We're getting 60 or 70% with our virtual programs. So until people until, number one, they say it's safe to bring people back, and the stay safe, stay home is lifted, and that will also be lifted in phases. People who have certain medical conditions, they'll still recommend in phase 3 that they remain home. You've heard that, Lori, right? Yeah, I think the health agencies know that as well. So, masks will be required. If you can't wear a mask, you can't come, that kind of thing. So it's a pretty daunting task. We're up for the challenge, but I think it's going to be a while, and people are happy to stay safe. They're enjoying the virtual programming. And our instructors have done amazingly well with embracing for them, which sometimes, given their activity, it can be very challenging, but they're doing great. And so when we have 60 or 70%, when we get to the reports on here, you'll see the stats that we're pretty much probably 60, 70% what we were pre-COVID. And that other balance is really some of the activities that were here, the cards, the game playing, those kind of things that we can't do on site. So let's see. On transportation, I forgot to mention that I'm speccing out new vehicles. In the current fiscal year, we are going to replace 2 of our buses. I was going to place one big, one small, but now because we can only have one, maybe two people on a vehicle at a time, I may have to replace the two larger vehicles and then the smaller one when all sanctions are lifted. So we are working on that. Let's see what else on there. Let's see what else. Let me think. Oh, I don't know who's calling, but they can just wait. Let's go through some of the reports, if you have them there, through your packet, because I've just kind of rambled on a long time. I did do the financials for the end of the fiscal year, which ended June 30th. And you'll see in some of the accounts, we have a nice little balance that goes back into the town coffers. And that's because we pretty much ceased a lot of our activities in March. So the last quarter, we realized savings in like the part-time salaries, the travel, our membership in meetings, because we usually do those in the spring. So office supplies, we didn't need as much. So we were able to economize there. So those resources have gone back into the town. On the Brantford medical transportation, at the end of the year, we ended up ahead of the game. So our donations kept up with our expenses and our gas and our maintenance and repair expenses. So we have just over $69,000 in that count to carry us over into the next fiscal year. The one area where we're taking a bit of a hit, if you look at it, is endowment, because we generally use that interest. We can use that for programming. But I think last month it was down to $25 in interest, whereas a year ago we were like at $800 a month, and the year before that it was like $1,200 a month. So we're taking a hit in that. We haven't lost anything in the principal. That kind of goes up and down a little bit, but finance does a really great job with that. So we've got a little less in the interest column there, but that's okay. And I do want to mention too, I made the decision, and I hope you support it, that during the pandemic, when we've paused things, we've also paused all the fees. So things that, like dues and participation fees, we realized savings in other areas. So we just have paused that until we can welcome people back here. We're not going to collect it. We don't need to right now. And I hope you support that decision. We want to encourage people. We really want to have as many people participate. And we're seeing a lot of new faces saying, hey, they're a resource. Let me join. And we're welcoming them in. So, so anybody at home, if you want to join and you're worried about the fees, it's only $8 a year when we do have fees, but it adds up when you've got a lot of participants. So that's a positive. You got to look at all the positives in all of this, right? I'm happy to say that throughout the budget process, which ended in May, there were no cuts to our budget. So we were fortunate in that way. Everything was funded. I didn't really raise anything except salaries per contracts that had been previously negotiated. So we're okay on that department in terms of moving forward. However, the First Selectman has advised us that they're keeping an eye on tax collection rates. And this affects all the departments, that if we don't get the revenue in the taxes, then they're going to have to look at how to modify budgets, down the road. So everyone at home, please pay your taxes. Keep everyone employed and keep the town running, because we really enjoy, service that we provide to the community. And I think it's really important when over 30% or about 30% of your population is over the age of 60. It's really important to have a strong team to support them, particularly in this time, good times and bad, right? So let's see. Any questions on the financial reports?
No.
No? Okay. We go back next to, I did the year-end stats for the fiscal year end. I didn't do July and August for this fiscal year. I usually do it every quarter. But you'll see I changed it up a little bit because I kind of wanted to know where we stood during COVID times versus our normal activity times. and you'll see there's nothing really under the transportation because all of that had been paused. And you can see where I was talking about the meals are really stronger than they were before, pre-COVID. And I've really got to say, Nancy and the team, Ellen and the team doing activities, if you look at the monthly numbers on the bottom, you can see they're, 60, 70% of pre-COVID. So not having people on site, I'm really proud of how much we are doing. And we're doing book clubs. Nancy will get into everything that we're doing, but I think that speaks to keeping it virtual until it's safe to get people back here. I don't want to go down to 10%. And we keep trying to reinvent things and how we're doing it. Any questions on those stats?
Oh, that sounds good.
Okay. Well, it was just interesting to me to see, how it, like if you look at the phone calls and the masks, and it's just pretty crazy. And then I put in there, do all of you get our newsletter, the email communication?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I did include that in case someone was not getting it. On there, the National Senior Center Month, Nancy will go through some of the special things we have going on when we get to her. And we want to also on here, you'll see the page about our first virtual Tri-Town thing. We did an Alpha, about this, our virtual Aarp program that we did.
Oh, yes, that was very successful.
You want to speak a little to your experience in it?
It was probably a month or so ago when I participated in it, but it went through various expectations that one would have as you're moving ahead in your senior years, planning for it, what to anticipate. You folks brought in expertise from all these different areas, which were very, very useful. And I highly recommend it. It's too bad that more people don't participate with it.
Well, we're working on it. That was the first in the country to do it virtual. National Council on Aging reached to Connecticut. We have a pretty strong organization here. And they reached out to a few of us and said, would you be willing to do it virtually? And okay, we will. But it was really, I was a little nervous about it, but it really was wonderful. And Patty, I think you did it, Patty, in person, right?
The mastery?
Yeah, no.
Yes, I did. And
I did, but Patty Burnell did it too, didn't you,
right.
Pat?
I did, yeah.
Okay, so imagine trying to do that virtually.
Yeah.
But all the speakers approved. The speakers were great. The participation amongst the participants. We did a great graduation. We had a lot of fun with that. So.
Yeah. Nancy outdid herself with that one.
She sure did. I'm not surprised, but what that has led to is that was partnering with the Connecticut Healthy Living Collective. And so now they've partnered, that was NCOA, now they've partnered with AARP, who decides they have this big database of seniors across the country, and they want to get into virtual senior center programming. They want to offer some things through their national platform. So they came to Connecticut, and myself and Diane Stone from Newington and Lauren Ray from Woodbury were selected to offer the first Tri-Town virtual senior center exploration series in the country. So for AARP, and AARP is funding it, and depending upon how this goes, they will expand it nationally. So we've gotten a little traction on that. It's limited to 15 people. And the first session is with David Bibby, who is a phenomenal tour guide. He will be bringing people to kind of hidden treasures across the state, and it's live. You interact with one another as we do it. So each town, all three towns come together for the presentation. Then we go into Zoom breakout groups and we discuss things there, and then we come back together as a whole group, a community. The second one is on Zentangles. Does anybody know what Zentangles is?
No.
Nancy, you want to explain it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a way of doodling. It's really fun. You don't have to have like a real artistic ability to do it, but they show you different techniques, and you can use different colored pencils and markers and stuff.
They're going to
We've done that.
we've got a really good instructor for this, and it's kind of, yeah, it's a really cool thing. I was kind of like, Zentangles, what is it? But the demonstration that I saw in it was really cool. They're going to give them all the supplies. It's no cost to the participant. It's kind of like it's not coloring. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of got an Eastern slant to it a little bit. But we have that going on. And then the third one, Mark Connell, who is an elder law attorney in town, is doing a presentation here on how you can preserve your assets and your quality of life. And so he'll be doing that to the whole group on the 28th. So that is in the newsletter. If anyone's interested, we're limited to 15 people per community. So that's all we can have. So if you're interested in doing it, please sign up. You have to contact the Connecticut Healthy Living Collective directly, or you can give us a call and we'll go online and enter you in the class. So if anyone's interested in that.
Dagmar, I just put my hands on this, the diploma from the Aarp program.
We can't see it.
It's not showing up.
It's not working with your virtual background. Where is it? I can see the corner.
But it's gone.
No, it's gone. So it doesn't somehow match with your virtual
So
background.
If you turn your virtual background off, then we'll be able to see your diploma.
But then she doesn't want us to see everything in her room.
All the junk behind it.
There you go. I know how those work. Yeah, so that, and then Nancy can go through some of the other things there.
Let's play with this.
Let me think. Let me see what's going on. What else?
Here.
Nancy, do you want to pick up with some of the programming reports?
Because it would do it all the time.
You want to do your programming?
Didn't want it to turn, it would. And I locked it not to, but I don't want to go in the settings now.
Okay.
We can hear you.
Pat, we can hear you, Pat. Nancy, you want to give your report?
Yeah. Okay. So as Dagmar said, we're doing a lot of Zoom classes. If people don't know how to do Zoom, there's 3 really good tutorials that are in our newsletter. So I strongly suggest that you view those first and then give me a call or give anyone on our team a call. We'll be happy to guide you through it to get you on. It's very easy for those who don't have computers or they don't want to do the Zoom or they don't have the camera. You can call into it. So a lot of the classes we offer, you can call in. So we're doing all of our regular things, a watercolor class. We have aerobics 3 days a week. We have yoga. It's once a week. There's 2 different levels. We have the Tai Chi. There's 2 different levels. We're meeting for knitting and crocheting once a week. Book club is once a month. And for those of you who are out there, it's not just girly books. I pick books for men and women because we do have men in the group. And they're usually books that you probably wouldn't even pick on your own. I just have to make sure that they're not brand new because it's hard to borrow. But the library's been wonderful during the pandemic, letting me borrow books. So if you're interested, give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to share what we're doing with that. We have a lot of really cool speakers. We're trying to do some gaming things online. Another thing we did that Dagmar didn't mention, we did a pen pal writing thing, and like, yeah, maybe a few people. I mean, we must have done over 300 pen pal letters. I mean, they're phenomenal. The creativity of some people. So the people who benefited from that were the nursing home people. So we sent them to Brantford Hills, to Atria, and the Hearth at Gardenside, and they were just thrilled to receive them because, you know, remember, they've all been without company, family. They've been alone. So, you know, it made us as staff feel good as well as the volunteer writers, and the recipients were quite excited about it. So we're doing that. My most favorite thing that we did through the whole pandemic in May when it was Older Americans Month, we did the car parade. And the first 2 people I saw as I'm honking my horn going down the street, I had like tears in my eyes. It was just so exciting to be able to get out of the building and to be out there in public, you know, the fire engine, the police. And it was the coolest thing. So that was my favorite thing during the pandemic. Also, so it's Senior Center Month, so we do have some special things. So there's 4 areas: the mind, the body, the spirit, and community. So with the mind, we're going to do some really fun creative writing games with one of our members. Her name is Janice Samuel, and it's on Wednesday, September 23rd at 10. Sign up with me. It looks really cool. I'm going to participate because she's going to get us writing, and I'm not a writer, so it's really a great way to challenge your mind. So please join us. For those who enjoy walking, we're doing this September walking challenge, and whomever puts in the most steps after 2 weeks will win a gift card to Donovan's Reef. It's $25. So if you want more information, give me a call, shoot me an email. If you don't have a device that measures your steps, you don't need one. You can just count in your head and you keep track of it. It starts on September 14th for 2 weeks. And then the last week of September, let me know your totals and we will announce the winner in the next newsletter. So I'm excited with that. You know, spirit also has to do with, you know, being healthy, staying safe. So Barbara Niclario from the health department is going to do a talk on CBD and other miracle cures. And CBD can also be used with your dogs. So that should be very interesting. So that's on Tuesday, actually next Tuesday at 10 in the morning. And there's a couple of community things we're doing. We're doing our very own online art show exhibit. So if you're an artist, whether you paint, you do jewelry, any type of medium, you're a quilter, whatever it may be, take a picture, send it to Ellen, and we're going to post everything in the newsletter. You know, it's just kind of cool to see the creativity of people here in our own town. And then the other community thing we're doing, for those of you who are missing the staff, we're doing a classic baked potato drive-through. So just connect with me. We're staggering how people are coming. You just come onto the Church Street side of the building and the staff will be out there to give you your baked potato and you'll be on your merry way. So we're excited. So, and if you have any suggestions, ideas for speakers, programs, you have a special talent, I'm always looking for ideas. So give me a call, shoot me an email. Thank you.
Nancy, you want to speak a little about the Senior Learning Network? Or do you want me to?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Senior Learning Network, they have the coolest programs. It's free to you folks. There's 4 really good ones coming up this month. All you have to do is shoot an email to Ellen and she'll send you the link to get on it. And one of them was Mystic Aquarium. You kind of got a behind the scenes look at it. A couple of times we've had an artist that will teach a class. I mean, if you had to pay for this woman, it would cost you a good chunk of change. But the ones that we have coming up, we have, well, we missed 2 of them already, but there's 2 more coming up. There's one on dolphins on Tuesday at 1:45, and then there's one on Pio Pico, the Historic State Park, and that's live, and that's on September 17th at 1:45. So they're really like different things, whether they're museums or you're out in the world somewhere, but it's something different to do and to keep you active. I will tell you, when we met with the knitting group today, some of the ladies in the group were like, oh my God, I'm getting so tired of doing my projects. And so one of them said, it's so cool to be able to do the Senior Learning Network because, you know, you're thinking, you're learning about new things, and we highly recommend that you do this. It's a great thing.
And what it does is it's national, so it's live. So the presenter, the naturalist, the park ranger, the dolphin expert, they're doing it live. And it's kind of like a Zoom platform. So you're, it's a webinar kind of, and you are interacting with seniors from all across the country with your peers. So that's what really makes it cool, is that it's interactive and it's across, it's nationwide. And they do limit the number. It's closed now to new centers can't join, but we got a 1-year membership to it so we can offer it out. Patty, Alpha, any of you taken any of those classes?
No, but I might.
No.
Oh, I think it's kind of like enrichment in a different way, because you're really doing it outside of your geographical zone into places you may not normally go. And while none of us can travel really right now, I think it's a really good way to kind of like get that educational slant, but fun and perspectives from people from across the country. So I encourage people to give that a shot. Nancy, do you have more? Maybe the chair fitness exercise through the VNA?
Oh yeah, so the VNA is doing a chair fitness. So for those of you who maybe don't have the physicality to do the aerobics or to go walking outside, they have a really great chair program. Two of our members I know of had taken the last session. They said it was excellent. The instructor they have is very good. So it's on page 7 in the newsletter. You can sign up with them. There is a small fee. It's $15, but it's well worth what you're paying for it. So hopefully you'll be able to sign up for that.
And I think more people are being less active. So it's really important to maintain mobility and do what you can do in terms of fitness and exercise. And the VNA just does a great job with this program. I think everyone who's taken it has said it's made a difference in how they feel and their mobility. And that's what we're about. We want to keep people active and involved and engaged and physically able to do things. Nancy, did you set up the one with the Alzheimer's Association too for brain health?
No.
Oh, I don't know who did that. Maybe Ellen must have. So anyway, there's Healthy Living for Your Brain and Body on Wednesday, September 16th, if anybody's interested in that. Let's see, did anyone catch the program that was with Roberta Gill, Bobby Gill, the tax collector?
Yes.
That was phenomenal.
She was outstanding.
We had her at the center a few years ago, and she spoke to growing up as a person of color in Brantford, and it was very powerful. And I kind of said, I want everyone to see it. And then Lonnie Reed did like a 45-minute interview with her, and it's posted online. If you just look up Roberta Gill and Lonnie Reed, it'll come up. And it was really, it's a conversation that people in our community have had now, and I think it's one to revisit with your family, with your neighbors, with your friends. It was really, she's a very engaging communicator. The way she speaks is very cool, and the interaction between her and Lonnie, it's a pretty powerful thing to watch. So if you haven't done so, please do so. Nancy, do you have any more? You did a program on election, on voting.
Yeah, the voting, that went well. We did it before the primary, and then we did it just recently for the presidential election. And it's definitely the way they do it, everything is status quo. There's no room for mistakes. So I feel very comfortable doing my absentee ballot.
And if anybody has any questions about it, they can contact you. I think you also put it in, it's in this newsletter.
Yeah, it's in the newsletter,
so
yeah.
If anybody...
Yeah, you can also go on the town clerk's website, and they have information on it as well. So.
And you can call them directly as well.
Call me.
Call who?
Call Patty.
Oh, okay. Call Patty.
Yeah.
Oh, you are? You're a part of that?
Oh, yeah. I do absentees. Janet Kaminsky and I are in charge of the absentees.
I did not know that. Is there anything you'd like to share with our senior community about the process?
No, well, there are one thing that is very, very important is that they sign the envelope and put the ballot inside their inner envelope and sign it before you put it in the outer envelope. That is like the most important, after you vote, of course.
Now, is everyone going to get mailed? From my understanding, I could be wrong, everyone's going to get mailed the application for an absentee ballot, and you have to send that in. And then they send you your ballot, and then you get that back, right?
But you could vote at the polls. I mean, some people think they have to vote absentee. They don't. They could vote at the polls. But yes, if you want to vote absentee, sign your application, mail it in as soon as possible. And once you vote, get your ballot back as soon as you can. Don't wait. There's a box outside Town Hall.
When are we going to get those applications?
I understand they've been starting to be mailed out to the bigger cities, and hopefully Brantford will be the beginning of next week. See, the state is mailing the applications, but the towns are doing the ballots.
So the state's mailing the request for the absentee ballot, and
that's right.
You send that back, and then the town sends you your ballot.
Yes.
Okay. So that's great.
I think that Lisa has said that they were going out the very beginning of October. None of them you could, or no, maybe it's the
ballots will be mailed. Ballots get started to be mailed on October 2nd.
Oh, okay, that's what it is. All right.
So
but
it is
your
a
application
process.
There's a lot of work for her to do, to get it ready.
Of course it is.
Yeah, your office is all set for you, Pat.
I know.
You got your office all situated. It's just waiting for you and Janet.
Well, see,
I know.
When you retire from the town, you and Janet, they're going to pull you back in somehow. So it'd be good to have you back in the ranks as a peer.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing it a long time.
So there you go. That's a great thing.
I read recently that towns are looking for volunteers to help count the paper ballots, the absentee ballots. Do any of you know anything about that?
We are. You can give me, are you interested?
I am, yes.
Okay. I'll get your phone number and I'll call you because I want to ask you a question, but I don't want to, put it out.
Do it here and, okay.
Yeah, and not for the whole town to hear.
Exactly.
There you go.
It's not a big deal. I mean, the question, but,
We can segue into flu shots from that. We are working with the health department on a flu clinic. They are also working on perhaps having mobile clinics where they can bring it to senior housings across the town for people who don't want to come out. Nancy, do you know the date they're looking at to do it in the down?
So the flu shot clinic that they're doing here downstairs at the rec department where the gymnasium is, they're doing it for seniors only from 1 to 2 on October 5th. And then for those people who don't want to be indoors doing it, they are doing a drive-through at their building on East Main Street on September 26th from 10 to 1.
And then, like I said, they're exploring and they're trying to set it up so they can go get there's a whole group in town. I know I spoke to Peter Semino about it, that they're working on getting the shots into where people are, into the housing, et cetera. But the real problem, and Laura, you've probably seen this too, is they're having a hard time staffing it with, they usually have retired nurses, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's a big challenge. So we're trying to get more nurses that will be available to help with the flu shots.
Yeah, it's
been a challenge.
Hey, Laura, I'll volunteer.
Jean, you're a nurse?
Yeah, I'm a registered nurse and a registered respiratory therapist, and I just retired July 1st.
Well, there you go.
Contact the health department.
I know.
That's how I know that for so long.
Yeah.
Contact Lori at the VNA or Rita Foster over at the health department in Brantford. Both do it. So
I used to give the flu shots to the whole staff, all the employees. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
all right. Yeah. Contact me.
I will.
And if there are any healthcare professionals out there, nurses, that are looking to work some of the clinics, please give either the VNA or the health department a call because they really are short-staffed in getting these flu shots out to people. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Great. See, we can get people employed. We'll put you all back to work.
There you go.
I need something. It's a little boring being retired. I didn't know it was going to be so boring.
Oh, really?
I got plenty of work for you here.
Never.
Well, you kind of got retired at a time when no one's doing much of anything.
I know.
It's an unusual time to be retired. Everybody else is paused. That being said, I think, Nancy, do you have any more in your report?
No, I'm all good. Thank you.
I think I'll go. Marlo gave me the report for the social services that I did mail to all of you. I think it's in your emails. I just really want to highlight some of the things for the community. One of the big things that she and Nikki did during the pandemic was develop a community resource guide. And many of you have seen it. That was one of the first things. It took hours and a lot of research and a lot of updating, and they got it out there. They got it on the town website. We emailed it to all the seniors. And it really had information pertinent to seniors, but also people of all ages. So that, I think, is still online, and they are still working on the resources there. They really helped people with food resources, crisis intervention, all the assistance programs like fuel assistance and rent rebate they've been doing, not in-person appointments, but they'll do them over the telephone and then mail things back and forth. We have a drop box outside the rec department entrance. On the outside, there's a drop box where people can drop stuff, or they can always come to our door up here and ring the doorbell, and one of us will grab it for them. So that's been going on. Let's see, the rent rebate, they sent out 400 appointment letters, and to date, 222 applications have been processed. They're doing them by mail, Dropbox, and email, along with phone interviews. And it takes longer. It's a slower process because there are more steps and lag time. You know, they have to get the information in, it has to get processed here, then we got to get it back for signatures to them, then they got to get it back to us. So it's very labor intensive. They're in the process of reaching out to the people. In a normal year, we'll do 350 to 400 rent rebate applications, and we think the lag is due to the process. So Marlo and Nikki are reaching out to everyone who hasn't applied for their benefit to make sure they don't miss out, because the deadline is October 1st. So if you, it's a one-time check that is determined how much you get, determined how much rent, utilities, and your income was. And this is for rental payments you made in 2019. So the deadline's October 1st. If you haven't renewed it since last year, get a hold of Marlo or Nikki, and they would be happy to get you on board with doing that. So far, grants in the amount of $94,610.33 have been processed. Last year, it was $163,520. So they still have a little bit to go to make what we did last year, but I'm confident that there's always that last minute rush. So the rent rebate's coming to a close, so get a hold of them for that. This year, we were able to get some, we've tried for years, and this year we finally got some farmers market coupons. I think it's $18 per household. We have a limited number of those. So if you're interested, if you go to the farmer's market, you want fresh fruits and vegetables, I think there's one in East Haven is the closest one. Get a hold of Marlo and Nikki, and they'll sign you up and get you your booklet. It's on a first come, first served basis. We also went to the Brantford Community Foundation and wrote a grant for disposable undergarments. It's one of those things people don't really talk about, but particularly during the pandemic, we found that people were having a hard time getting supplies, and also were strapped a little bit financially. So we went to the Brantford Community Foundation, and they were kind to fund a grant so we can help people with up to $100 of product that gets delivered directly to their home. It's confidential. No one knows that you're getting it except Marlo or Nikki. So it is all confidential. And we hope more people will take advantage of the program. So if you know anyone who uses disposable undergarments, please have them give us a call. And we'd be happy to help them out with that. Also, energy is starting to gear up. They're starting to gear up for that. That starts in October. They'll do them the same way that they have rent rebate. We'll do them remotely. So it'll be a little bit of a process, and they will mail things out to people. And it takes a lot more time to do it when you can't have someone come in person and bring you all their papers and ask them all the questions. So hopefully people will be patient. The first day, they'll be sending out the letters, Marla said, on 9/21, they'll start to send out some of the letters for appointments in October on the phone. And the first day for deliveries is November. So that we work with the people who get deliverable fuels first, so oil and kerosene. So if you heat with those kind of sources, keep an eye out in late September for the paperwork. Once you get the paperwork, call and schedule your appointment, and you'll be on board for that November 2nd delivery. The moratorium during the pandemic, people could not get shut off for their electric source, and it's all been extended to October 1st, particularly for people out of work and are struggling financially, and particularly now that unemployment benefits have been reduced. So if anyone is in that position, you do have to apply for the hardship. I don't think you get it automatically, but they have extended the deadline. And I know there's help for people who are renters with rental payments. So get a hold of Nikki and Marlo if you're in that situation, you need a little bit of help. They've been helping people with applications for DSS, Medicare, unemployment. They've had a real influx of people needing help navigating the unemployment system because they're so backlogged, and it's very difficult to get that process. So we've been helping a lot of people with that. And Robin Comey, one of our representatives, has been instrumental in getting some households the help that was just stuck in a jam. So thank you to her for that. People have been very cooperative, grateful, and thankful for the social service help they're getting. And again, if you have any needs and just want to talk to someone privately and confidentially, you can give them a call. The other thing that's happened is there's a lot of emotional support that we're doing. I think people are getting a little stir crazy and anxious and just wanting to bust out, and some people are getting depressed. The counseling center is addressing a lot of that, but again, our social service team always has an ear to listen, and as do the rest of the team. So if anyone is struggling, please give us a call and reach out. We'd be happy to help you on that. That's it. There's also in this week's newsletter, the storm debris cleanup. The town Public Works is going around picking up stuff, but also if you're a senior and you need help getting a tree removed or debris removal, call 211 and tell them you're a resident of Brantford and you need help with storm cleanup. They have a special program that's been with Team Rubicon with volunteers who will come help clean up for you. So we've had several people who had real struggles in these last few storms. So just call 211, identify yourself as a Brantford senior, and that you need help with storm cleanup. We also have the face coverings. If anyone is in need of more face coverings, we do still have some of those. I think that's what I got in social services. Any questions on any of those programs?
I think so.
Okay, and then quickly you'll see in your packet, seeing as how it's Senior Center Month and it's Let's Get Connected is really the theme. In May, you'll see I wrote a letter to Governor Lamont, and he put me on the committee for Reopen Connecticut. But toward the end of it, I'm very passionate about people getting connected. And everyone's worried about social isolation and seniors, but they're making it very difficult for us to get money to help people get connected. And it kind of gets me angry because they have CARES Act money that's gone to the area agencies on aging. I've had meetings with them, had meetings with the State Department on Aging. I'm trying to be a voice for people who, before the pandemic, like I said earlier, there are a lot of people who thought, I don't need to have a smartphone. I don't need an iPad. I'm too old for that. But now they're really seeing value and they just don't know where to get it, how to get it, or maybe they don't have the resources. So I'm really wanting, and I spoke to Nancy about it and one of our colleagues, to start a statewide campaign to get some of that CARES Act money, some money locally. I've spoken to members of the Rotary Club about it, to the Brantford Community Foundation, to get people connected, whether it's an iPad. If you can give every kid in the state a Chromebook, why can't we get it to our seniors?
There you go. You're right.
Absolutely. You know, that's as simple as it is in my thoughts. And the money is from the CARES Act. you have all this big talk about social isolation. And I asked the Area Agency on Aging how many people they had take advantage of it. And I think it was like 22 in our 20-town region. And they had to have a caregiver. Lori, I think I sent you the info. Their caregiver could apply for it. And then there's another program where they have to take 20 or 30 hours of training through the rehab program. And I'm like, well, you know, there's just a lot of people who we're willing to teach them. We're willing to give us the money. We'll purchase the product. We'll get it to people. We'll teach them. And they can get connected to the senior center, to their doctors, to their families, to the grocery stores. And you know, help us do it. So I am kind of asking the commission, if there's anyone on the commission that feels as passionately as I do about getting a campaign going to get seniors connected, reach out to me. And I'd love to have you work with me and get a committee. And I think it would be a wonderful project for the commission to spearhead a little bit. You guys are very talented people, very smart and resourceful, and I would really like to make the difference in some people's lives. And it kind of goes to my predecessor, Matt Brady. In our old building, it was called the Brady Learning Lab, and he was all about people using their minds and learning and growing. And he's kind of on my shoulder saying, get out there and do it. So with your help, I think we could make it happen. So please reach out to me, or if there's anyone in the community that is willing to help or has resources or is part of a service club that would be willing to help us get people. And it's really not that expensive. For example, through Comcast Essentials, they have a program, and this is income-based for their program. They'll give you either a laptop or a desktop and a year of connectivity for $350. So we know it's a fixed price per person. So help me get that going. I would welcome the help and the input on that. So yeah, you can kind of see that's where my passion is, and it's just a priority, and it really affects a lot of people. So that's it. That's all I have. Any of you, comments, anything?
Great report, thank you.
Who is this?
Dana Murphy.
It's Dana.
It's Dana.
Oh, Dana, you're
Yes,
there.
Sorry for the lateness. I had problems with my telephone.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I heard most of the last report, so that's good.
Okay, great. Well, I sent you all the documents, and we're sorry. I didn't even know you were there. I'm sorry. I would have.
Well, I know. I just tuned in about 10 minutes ago. Right at time.
Well,
about 15 minutes ago. I heard, as I say, I heard most of the report that she just gave, so that's good.
Okay. But does anyone have any questions?
Do you need to make an appointment for the flu clinic, the drive-through? Do you know? No?
Not at this point that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Okay. Just because I know people are going to want to know that.
Yeah. If they change it, we'll let you know.
Okay. Good.
Blast it out there.
Good.
Anything else?
I just want to say, let's not forget about 9/11 tomorrow, and God bless America.
That's right.
Absolutely. My understanding is every year we normally have a program at the firehouse, but I know they videotaped it, and it's going to be played on, I'm not sure, there must be a link on the town website. But I know that we're doing some of the videotaping here.
I think it's on BCTV a couple of different times. I saw it, I think, in the patch. So
okay.
It's probably easy to Google, too. Let's see where it's.
That's true. We have a lot, amidst all the pandemic and lockdown, we have a lot to be grateful for. So
we do.
There's a lot of positive. We just got to look for it a little bit deeper. That's all.
One day at a time.
But I miss everyone.
I know.
Good to
miss
see
everybody. Is there anything else?
Thank you.
Any other comments? The next meeting is November 12th. So with that said, do I hear a motion to
adjourn?
To adjourn.
Second.
I second it.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Dagmar.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
See you
All right.
Good night.
Take care. Okay. Bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.
program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Brantford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BrantfordTV.org.